We're focusing on your driver, and you've told us that the main issue is that the majority of your drives fly too low and you simply want to get the ball to fly higher through the air. The height of the shots is mainly influenced by two things: the loft of the club at impact and what we call the angle of attack, which is whether the club head is moving down or up. So if we de-loft the club, meaning there's less loft at impact, the ball will launch lower, and if we add loft, the ball will launch higher. With the angle of attack, the more you hit down, the lower you will launch the ball, and the more you swing up through impact, the higher you will launch the ball. So what we're looking for is to add loft and to make sure your club head is moving up through impact. If we start with setup, it can be a very simple answer. If you're allowing the ball position to drift too far back in the stance, it will be very easy to de-loft the club and hit down. And we'll do this because we're allowing the hands to pass ahead of the ball at impact. If we simply move the ball position further forward in the stance, the club now has longer to regain its loft and for the club head to level off and possibly even start moving up. So making sure we set up with the ball well forward in the stance would be the first thing. Now, of course, we have the dynamics of the golf swing. There are two elements to look at, but luckily they're very closely related. So the first would be where we are at the moment of impact, meaning have we moved forward on top of the ball or have we stayed behind it? If we swing down towards impact and we have a very dramatic shift towards the target, it will be very easy to get the hands forward. On the other hand, if we were to stay behind the ball, it would be much easier to get the club to bottom out before it so it moves up, and it would give us time to add loft. So making sure we are behind the ball all the way up until the moment of impact before we finally swing through to our finish is the key here. Now the second part of this is the release. And the release would be we hinge the wrists on the way back, we have to unhinge them. Staying back behind the ball will make this easier, but we still have to make sure we're doing it properly. So we hinge the wrists on the way back. If we don't unhinge them soon enough, the only way to get the club to the ball is to allow the hands to pass it. On the other hand, when we get to the top of the swing, if we can get the release to happen a little bit earlier, you'll see that we can arrive at impact with more loft and the club moving up. So one description could be we're trying to return this shaft to vertical. If we delay the release, it will be leaning forward. But if we can release it so that the club comes back reasonably vertical for impact, we'll have the full loft of the club, and there's also a very good chance we're going to have the club moving up through impact. So our two keys are make sure the setup has the ball well forward, and then with the golf swing, make sure we're staying behind the ball until impact, and during that downswing we're having a good active release with the hands so that we return the shaft reasonably vertical and not leaning towards the target. So let's bring this round to a golf ball and actually hit a shot. Let's have a few practice swings. Feel that we're hanging back for a little bit longer and feel that we're releasing the club earlier so that we're adding loft. And if those two things feel okay, let's hit a shot and see how high we can get this ball to fly.